friend. Welcome back to my kitchen. If YouTube brought you here, my name is Stacy, and around here I create quick, easy, delicious, affordable meals. Well, this week we're going to do a little bit of meal prep, and we're going to do it with a secret weapon, a rotisserie chicken. Now, all three of these dishes come together super quickly. You can make them at the beginning of the week, freeze 2 of the dishes if you want to, but they're all going to be packed with flavor, whether you eat them fresh or you eat them from the freezer. We're going to be making a sneaky chicken manicotti, and I call it sneaky because I sneak a little spinach in there. We're also going to be doing a green chili casserole as well as chicken salad. So we're going to have all 3 of those dishes prepped and ready to go in one session. But first, we're going to have to break apart the rotisserie chicken. Let's get started. So we have our rotisserie chicken, and you probably saw the Kirkland brand. It is from Costco. Costco tends to have larger chickens. Now what we're going to need is we're going to need 4 cups. So if you have a smaller chicken, you may need to do 2 chickens to get the 4 cups, or just do maybe 2 of these recipes and save 1 for later if you have a smaller chicken. But if you have a Costco, and if you hit up the deli for the rotisserie chicken and you get one of these monsters, you'll have no problem at all creating all 3 of these meals. Let's break it down. Alrighty, so we've got most of the chicken off of the bone. Now you can see all of this meat that's still left on here. We could really get even a 4th dish out of this if we wanted to boil the carcass and maybe add some veggies, make a stock, do a yummy chicken noodle soup. You could definitely do that. I honestly was just ready to start the recipes, so that's why I stopped picking, if we're being honest with each other, friend. Now I'm just going to chop this up, make sure I have 4 cups. If I don't have 4 cups, then I'll go back to the chicken bones, but really there's not much left here. Let's chop it up and see how much we have. We ended up with 6 cups of cooked chicken, plenty of chicken from that one Costco rotisserie chicken. So we're going to divide this up. We're going to have probably, since there's 6 cups, we'll probably just do 2 cups for each recipe. How about that? I love it when a plan comes together. Here's what we're going to need to get our sneaky manicotti put together. First up is going to be that 2 cups of chicken. Then we need 1.5 cups to 2 cups of ricotta. We're going to start with 1.5 cups, see how that looks, and then if it needs just a little bit more, we'll add a little bit more. 1 cup of spinach, a garlic clove, 2 cups of mozzarella and 1 cup of Parmesan cheese, 1/2 tablespoon of oregano, 1/2 tablespoon of basil, 1/4 teaspoon of salt and pepper. We're going to need, we have a 24-ounce jar of marinara sauce, but we may not need that because we're making the smaller 8x8 size in this. We're just going to see how much we're going to end up needing. Now, on the box of manicotti, on the back, you can see there are instructions on how to put this together. We're basically going to follow all of these instructions, but it'll be my recipe here. But if you want to make the larger family size, you could just make this whole box of manicotti. But there's 2 trays of manicotti noodles here. And so we're just going to make the top tray, maybe the top tray plus 1. So I kind of dry fit the manicotti noodles in here, and I could fit 8. Now we've got a pot of water boiling on the stove, and you can see here that it says to cook it in boiling water for 9 minutes. We want them to be a little al dente, so we're going to stop it at 7 minutes. I'm going to get these started in the boiling water. We're going to cook them for 7 minutes, and then we'll put our filling together. Here we have our 2 cups of chicken all measured out. We have all of our spices. Just throw that in. We have that cup of ricotta. And I use the whole milk ricotta, but you could definitely do the reduced fat as well if you wanted to. I'm just going to rough chop the spinach just a little bit. It will cook down, but since we're being sneaky, we want it to look as much like parsley flakes as possible. Just a little rough chop. So this will go in our bowl. Now we'll add our egg. And our cheese. A little bit of parm. A little bit of mozzarella. And we'll mix it all together. And like I said, we're going to do the 8x8 pan, 9x9, 8x8, whichever one you have. Now, as soon as our manicotti noodles are ready to go, we'll put this together. Now that our manicotti noodles have cooked for 7 minutes, you can see they're still a little pliable, a little al dente, because they are going to finish cooking in the oven. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of our marinara sauce, spread that on the bottom, encourage it along a little bit, and now we'll fill our manicotti noodles. You can do this a number of ways. You can put this in a Ziploc bag and you can squeeze it down inside of there, but you know, I like to get my hands dirty. So if you want to, I just like to mold it, but if you want to stay a little cleaner, definitely do the Ziploc bag, but I just kind of mold it around. And if you know an easier way to stuff manicotti, leave it in the comments, because I would love to hear it. I don't mind getting messy, but if there's a better way, let me know. So I'm just going to fill the rest of these up, wash my hands, and I'll see you in a bit. So we've gotten to the end and we have 2, 4, 6, 7, but we have this little square here. So this is our 8th manicotti. I'm just gonna cut it in half. It's split open, but that's okay. I wanted to show you guys that anyway. So if you have one that splits, just put it right back together and you can just tuck it under there, because we're going to cover this in cheese and sauce. And so really when you put your spatula in there to serve it up, nobody will know that that's cracked. Now we do have a little bit of filling left, so we could either put that on top or just leave it off to the side, whatever works. I don't want to waste anything, so I'm going to go ahead and put it right on top. And then we'll just spread it around. Now we'll cover this with sauce and cheese, and it will go into a 400-degree oven for 30 minutes. And we'll go ahead and use both the Parmesan and the mozzarella. There we go. Into the oven it goes. Our manicotti is out of the oven and bubbling and hot. So we're going to let this sit for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back and cut into it. It smells delicious. All right, it's been 5 minutes. Let's cut in to this manicotti. I covered it with so much cheese, it's kind of hard to tell where our manicotti is. Because remember, we have some that go this way, and then we have those that go that way as well. But in the end, does it really matter? It's all going to be delicious. It doesn't matter if we have a whole one or a piece of one. Oh, I might steam you up, friend. Sorry. You have got to try this. Let's eat. Hey friend, before we move on to the next dish, did you hit the like button yet? How about subscribe? If you like and subscribe, I'll show up in your feed every week, and I'll give you meal ideas just like these. Thanks. Here's what we're going to need to put together Mister's chicken salad. Once we have our chicken salad all put together, you can store it in these deli containers. I'll leave a link to the Amazon shop that I bought these from. They're really good, they're reusable, and they work perfectly to store this chicken salad. So we have our 2 cups of chicken. We have a 1/4 cup to a 1/3 cup of mayo. We're gonna start with a 1/4 cup, and then if we need to add any more, then we'll put some more in there. We have garlic powder, onion powder, white pepper, celery, some pickles, these are bread and butter pickles, and some red pepper flakes, and then Dijon mustard and ranch. I'll have all of these measurements on my website, so that will be in the description box. Now, all we have to do is just put it all together. Now we're just going to stir this all together. And see what we think. We can add more mayo. We can add a little pickle juice if you need to add some more liquid. Now I know lots of you like grapes in your chicken salad. Mister does not, he prefers the celery. But that's also an option. If you wanted to leave the celery out and change them for some red grapes, you could do that as well. Now to serve this, you can have it on toast, or you can make it pretty. Here we have some club crackers and an ice cream scoop. We'll just scoop that up just like that. And then we also have some toast here, so we can spread that. Now I toasted this bread ahead of time, but you could definitely do this as a melt too, and do it almost like a grilled cheese in a pan. There you have it, Mister's chicken salad. For our last 2 cups of chicken, we are going to put together a green chili casserole. Sometimes you may have heard it called a white enchilada casserole. I have heard that too at the same time, but I like to use the green chili peppers, so I call it green chili casserole. Now, this is what we're going to need to put our casserole together. We need 10 white corn tortillas, actually any you could do the yellow corn, so either white or the yellow, just corn tortillas. You can also use flour if you would rather do that as well. You're gonna need 10 of those, and we're gonna cube them up just because I feel like it goes in the casserole a little bit better. A can, let's see, this is a 4-ounce can of diced green chili peppers, and these are very mild. You don't have to worry about spice here. A can of cream of chicken soup, but you know me, I don't use this often. I'm gonna be doing my version of the cream of chicken soup, so I have that off to the side, ready to go. So you can either do the swap can of cream of chicken soup, or you can do a can of cream of chicken soup. I also have some salsa verde here. We're just gonna use a little bit of this, but I find that the green chili peppers, it has a great flavor, but we need just to amp it up just a little bit. So we're gonna do that with some salsa verde. Then we have 2 kinds of cheeses, a pepper jack and a Monterey Jack, a 1/2 cup of sour cream, and then we're gonna top it with a diced tomato and a jalapeno. And of course, our 2 cups of chicken. So you can see here, I basically diced the tomatoes and the jalapenos, the corn tortillas, and I opened up the green chilies. We're just gonna take our chilies. Let me grab a spatula so we can clean that out here. Our sour cream. A little bit of the Monterey Jack, a little bit of the pepper jack, and our cream of chicken soup. And we'll just stir this together. Oh, it smells delicious already. Okay, so we'll move our 8x8 pan over, and we're gonna put just a little bit of the salsa verde sauce on the bottom so that it doesn't stick, just like we did with our manicotti. Move that all around a little bit, add a little bit more. There we go. Now we'll layer the corn tortillas on the bottom. Now you don't have to dice these up. You can leave them whole if you wanted to. I just find that when you go to serve up the whole one, sometimes it's a little bit difficult and you end up scooping up a whole big giant tortilla. So this way, it just works a little better to kind of make it easier to serve. Now we're just gonna put it together just like a lasagna basically. So we have a layer of our corn tortillas, then we have our rotisserie chicken, and we'll probably do about 3 layers here. Okay, so with my other hand, not my chicken hand, I'll go in with the cheese with just a little sprinkling. And now a layer of our sauce. See if I can not make a mess here. I think it's impossible. Alrighty, kind of encourage that just a little bit. And then we'll do it all over again. A layer of corn tortillas, the rest of our chicken, sprinkling of one of the cheeses. And we'll add a little bit of that salsa verde, but again, you can totally leave that out and just go with the white cheeses, just like a regular white chicken enchilada. And then our sauce. And then our final layer. We're just gonna finish up with all of the corn tortillas. I should say the rest. The rest of the corn tortillas. The rest of our sauce. Spread it around just a little bit. And then top it with cheese. This is going to go into a 400-degree oven and cook for 30 minutes. Now, if you wanted to freeze this, you would freeze it at this point before you cook it. Then you can either thaw it the day that you want to cook it and bake it then, or bake it straight from the freezer. You'll just probably need about double the cooking time, and you'll want to cover this with aluminum foil when you put it in the oven. But all of those instructions will be on my website, and that link will be in the description box for you. Now I have some tomatoes just to add just a little bit of color. You could also use a drained can of Rotel tomatoes if you wanted to do that. And then again, just for some color, some jalapenos. But you know, I'm a spice wimp, so I won't use, this is an entire jalapeno. I won't use all of that. I will use just a little bit and leave this off to the side so my husband can spice his up accordingly. I'm just gonna do just a sprinkle just to kind of add a little color there. There we go. So this goes into that 400-degree oven for 30 minutes. 30 minutes later, here we are. It's a little too hot to try yet, but we're gonna let this cool off for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna give it a taste. All right, it's cooled down a little bit, so we are ready to cut into this. And you see the layers in there. You have to try this one. It's so good. Ooey, gooey, cheesy goodness. It's time to eat. Well, what did you think, friend? Did you find a new recipe? Will you make all 3? How about that Mister's chicken salad? What did you think about that recipe? Let him know in the comments, what do you think about his recipe? Will you try it? Anytime we have leftover chicken, he's making chicken salad, and he has pretty much perfected his recipe. Now, my favorite happens to be the manicotti, because anytime when we were raising the kids that I could sneak a little spinach into their diet, I was happy. I like the manicotti myself. Let me know in the comments if you try any of these. I love creating these recipes for you guys, and I love that you're here every week with me. If you're new, I do these meals every single week. So if you're looking for meal plans for 2 people, for 1 person, or for a family, I've got you covered. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so I show up in your feed every week. I hope that you have a fabulous day, and I'll see you soon. Bye, friend.